Craig, big win there, a big defensive effort as well, keeping them to 2. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was one of our better defensive, efforts of the season, I thought. They obviously had, a fair bit of bad luck there with losing, the couple of players, and then they got, I think, another injury. I think Cobbo got hurt as well. So, they had a real bad night there, very unlucky. So, but like I say, I thought, our defence was probably as good as it's been all year, or one of our best defensive efforts. There's still a few things probably attack-wise we can improve in a bit, but certainly it was a really good defensive effort, and we're real happy with that.
I think halfway through the second half, with 20 minutes to go, there was only 10 missed tackles across the whole game. Is that something you've really been focusing on, that defensive work at training? Is it something, obviously, you pride yourself on defence, but that's pretty remarkable at this point too. Gives you good stead heading into finals. Yeah,
I think, it probably has been one of our foundations, or it's one thing that I sort of like to see in the game, a good defence, and it probably has been a little bit inconsistent during the season. Again, we just got to be, again, consistent with it, doing it again next week. That's going to be the thing, and then the week after, So, but like I say, we got off to a good start tonight, and hopefully we can keep that sort of effort up.
One thing that's been consistent is the way that Coates is going up for those tries. Cam Monster's kicks, it's just, it's magical to watch almost.
Yeah, it's he's been such a great addition to our team. Since he come here, and he just keeps really getting better and better. To be quite honest, not just them. It's sort of he's probably defending a lot better now. He's a lot more comfortable around the team, and willing to get other players in the team advice or a little rev when they need it. So he's been he had a great year last year, and he's had a wonderful year this year so far. So hopefully he can keep it up.
How did you rate Harry's game? He's a big milestone.
Yeah, I know he was very good. You always get full effort from Harry. Sometimes he might put his effort into the wrong areas, or what I see as the wrong areas. But I thought the last couple of weeks have probably been the better games that he's had for us. He's just he always comes up with one real big play where he probably sprints somewhere and saves a try for us. He definitely leads by example, and whatever he expects for the rest of the players, he's willing to do that as well.
Was that change, like you said, mentioned it post-Origin, like last couple of weeks probably been his best? Like, was there a moment, was there a conversation that you had? Do you feel like Harry turned it around, or is it just off his own?
Oh no, I think we always have a conversation after every game, but like I say, I just think sometimes he probably tries too hard. That's a pretty good trait to have, to be quite honest. You'd rather see someone trying too hard than not hard enough. But so there's But like I say, it's I'll take that any day of the week, and we just have a bit of a chat after the games about what we think we might be able to do better, and what he might be able to do better, and what I might be able to do better as well. So every now and then he's got a bit of advice from me as well, so I'll take that on board.
What do you tell him, Harry?
Keep picking me.
Tyran's proving so valuable, isn't he?
Ever since he's been here, he's been exactly that, and with Husey not playing the last two or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, he's filled in there really well. And then, like tonight, we planned to bring Pez on, when we did bring him on, like with about 30 minutes to go, and then just see, where we would use which then, So we ended up putting him in the ruck, and then he ended up finishing the game in the centres, So, his versatility is unbelievable, and he never lets you down. He always gets the job done, and he's a great asset to have around.
How does he stay so focused? When he's sometimes needed for 20 minutes instead of the full 80.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not quite sure what his thinking pattern is, but like I say, he never seems to have too much trouble going from one position to the other. He's probably, probably grew up, doing that, I'd imagine. I think, his main position is in the halves. I think that's, as a kid, he's probably played there a heap, and I think that sort of helped him when he was, playing a bit dummy half for us as well, Went round Origin time, and but like I say, he just seems to be able to stick him anywhere, and he gets the job done for us.
Craig, how much, if at all, did your plans change at half-time in response to Brisbane losing both their halves? Because that's quite a unique circumstance.
We didn't really. I wouldn't say it changed a lot. Obviously, we probably wanted to complete a bit better, and that would be any time. But we were just wary of, with Ben Hunt going into the halves and Katoni going into the halves, they were probably going to run the ball a lot more than the two halves that went off. So we were being aware of, not going off them while they had the ball, and just make sure we were staying on them, and because I thought they'd run the ball a lot more than what they'd pass the ball, and I thought our guys done a real good job there.
Craig, just confirming, Hughesy could be back towards the back end of the season. It's touch and go, but you said this week perhaps, maybe, with his shoulder.
Yeah, again, I don't think we're any wiser than what we were last week. He seems to be coming on, pretty well, and the physios are happy with the way he's coming on. So, hopefully, we'll get him back sooner rather than later. But, I just love to see him play a game before the finals, to be quite honest. So, we'll just see how that goes. I think we've got 4 weeks before the finals now. So, we'll just see what happens. But, as I said, like Wish is doing a great job there, and Pez come on and done a solid job as well. So we're certainly not going to rush him.
What does Hughesy add in the coach's box?
Not much, actually. He's pretty quiet. That's the way he is. But he does come up. If he says something that's he means it, and it's probably pretty good advice, to be quite honest. So he just gives us another little angle. So it's good. I'd much rather have him on the field though, but in the box. But but he certainly adds something up there as well.
You're on top of the ladder at least for 24 hours. Do you celebrate that?
No, not really. Again, there's another game on next week, so we'll have a couple of beers. We got another, I think, Thursday night next week, which is a 7-day turnaround. So I like to say at the end of the day, it's a win, and we celebrate any sort of win, and against the Broncos, we always know that they're a hard team to beat. But as I said, we won't be getting too carried away. They had a real tough night with those injuries, and we'll go from there.
Is it just a 1 week thing with him?
Not quite sure. I think it's going to be a little bit more than 1 week. I don't think it's not going to be a 6 or 8 weeker, but it's going to be a bit more than one, I think.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jed.
Harry, well, you didn't want to talk or what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to change this. Coaches only.
Yeah, there you go.